All right, today's lesson, we're actually going to start with a little bit of just Algebra 1 review. We're going to do some rules with exponents, and typically they teach that in Algebra 1, so I just want to touch up on them and refresh your memory on those rules. We are going to do some multiplying of fractions, so I just want to go ahead and record what the rules are if you're multiplying fractions. You're simply multiplying the tops together, and then you're multiplying the bottoms together. So it's as simple as that. So over here we have ourselves a multiplication and division problem. Those are the only operations in the picture. So when you see a problem like this, you kind of want to, in your head, you want to like separate them. So the 16 and the 20 like are their own fraction, the A's make their own fraction, and the B's and the C's and so on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and reduce 16 over 20 like we normally would. That is just 4/5. However, when it comes to the A's, we have to use our exponent rules. And the exponent rules are as follows. So we would cross out the smaller of the two, which would be the A squared. So we're just crossing that out completely. You're going to minus that from the bigger exponent. So right by the 7, I'm going to put a -2. And I'm going to do the same thing for my B's. So I want to cross out the smaller of the two and subtract it from the bigger. And then for the C's, same thing, cross out the bottom, C squared, and subtract it from the top. Then we're going to go ahead and draw our fraction bar and record what's left on the top. So I'm just going to go from left to right. I see a 4, B to the first, because it would be 3 minus 2, and then C to the second. Same thing on the bottom. If you go across, you see a 5 and an A to the 5th. And then that one is done. We'll be doing that again in number 2, but first we need to multiply. So you can see that there's 2 fractions in the problem. We want to consolidate that down to 1 fraction. That's always our first step. So I'm going to draw a big fraction bar, because I'm still going to have a fraction. And I'm just simply going to go sideways. So I'm going to do 5 times 6, which is 30. Now, when I multiply my x's together, I'm simply adding their exponents. So think of it like there's 2 x's on the left and there's 3 x's on the right. So there's 5 x's total. So when you're looking at exponents, you're simply counting like how many of the object there are. And we do that by adding the exponents. So when we do the y's, we have a single y over here and 2 of them over here. That makes 3 y's. And then we'll go across on the bottom and do the same thing. 2 times 10 is 20. We just have lonely old x, so nothing's changing there. And then we combine the y's to make y to the 4th. So you can see how we went from 2 fractions to 1. That's what we want. Right, now I can do all my crossing out business, all my fraction reducing, that fun stuff. So I'm going to change 30/20ths into 3/2. I'm going to cross out the bottom x and minus him from the top. And I'm going to cross out y to the 3rd and subtract him from the bottom. And when I go to rewrite my answer, on the top I have a 3 and an x to the 4th. On the bottom, I have a 2 and a y to the 1st. And so we just leave it just like that, and we're all done. Now I'm going to do one more with you, but it's going to have division in it. So just to recap on the rules of division, you leave the first fraction alone. Keep it as it is. You're going to flip the second fraction. So it has to be like that. You can't switch the order. Then we change our operation to multiplication. So fraction is basically multiplication with the addition of a flip. That's all. So I know a lot of teachers will use the phrase keep, change, flip. Some teachers say keep, flip, change, whatever. It's keeping the first fraction, changing the operation, flipping the second fraction. So that's what we're going to do for number 3. I'm going to go ahead and keep my 7x² over 2. I'm going to change to multiplication, and I'm simply going to flip my second fraction. Now, just like we did in number 2, we want to consolidate this down to 1 fraction. So if I move across sideways here up at the top, I have a 7 and an x², but I can put these m's together. So my top is 7x² m cubed. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do 2 times 14, and then just tack on the x, so 28x. Now I have just one fraction, and then we're going to do our reducing. 7 over 28 is 1/4. I'm going to cross out the smaller x, minus him from the bigger x, and now my new numerator is x to the first m cubed. My new denominator is 4, and I'm done. Great. So those are typically what we refer to as Algebra 1 rules. Those are things that we're supposed to learn in Algebra 1 so that in Algebra 2 you can use those to help you get through these harder problems. Now I'm going to let you in on a secret. We cannot do any crossing out here like we did up here. And here's why. You can see these minuses and these plus symbols in these problems. As soon as you throw adding and subtracting into your fractions, it's a whole new ball game. All right, so we're not okay to cross anything out right now. We didn't have any pluses or minuses in our previous 2 problems. You see, you don't have any pluses or minuses, so you were free to just cross things out that matched up and just put things together. But as soon as those minuses and pluses are in the problem, it's a whole new ball game. All right, so a good rule of thumb is to know I can't do anything until I factor. Factoring is going to be your key to success in these problems. All right, so golden rule. With these subtraction and addition problems, you can't do anything until you factor. So in my next video, I'm going to show you exactly how that happens.